What's up? What's up? Welcome into the Orange Zone podcast. I'm Tommy Sladek. We have Ashley Wenskoski, and we have Rachel Culver on the producer mic. Welcome on in. A reminder, you can find every episode on Apple, Spotify, wherever you want to listen. You can also watch on our Orange Zone YouTube page. Hello, if you are watching from the Skycam. New episodes released every Wednesday, sometimes Tuesday night for quick.
Yeah.
We invite you to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok as we start to beef that up for the fall season. And this episode, if you've been following this summer, it's position group previews. And we're talking running backs, baby. We're talking a fun position.
We're talking running backs, and we are getting close. How about camp starts tomorrow, this week?
This
getting
week,
close.
We'll be hearing from Fran Brown on Wednesday, so that'll be exciting starting next week that we'll be able to bring you a lot of thoughts from camp and things of that nature. But this position in general, what do you think of when you think of the Syracuse running back room?
I mean, LeQuint Allen obviously comes to mind right away. Running backs is such a position that's been so iconic at Syracuse throughout the history of Syracuse football, and LeQuint Allen is just the next one in line in a long line of very talented Syracuse running backs.
And he's a different style from the last great to come through here, which is Sean Tucker, who was beefier, meatier.
Yes.
Allen is more lean, kind of that quick agility, speed. I mean, Sean had that too. But that's the one thing that has changed year over year is LeQuint has put on muscle, and he's over the 200-pound threshold.
I was going to say, LeQuint, I think one of the biggest changes on this team, just size-wise, physicality-wise, is LeQuint Allen this year. He has definitely bulked up this offseason.
And Rachel, how about you? When you think of the Syracuse running backs, what's going through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I was going through my research this morning. It's a shockingly young team. I guess I didn't realize how many freshmen and true freshmen we had coming into this room, but what a pleasure it will be for them to learn under someone like LeQuint Allen. I mean, that's really a joy for them, and to see a young team is exciting in that sense too, because you have a lot of talent that's coming up through the ranks here. So I'm excited to see how that develops throughout the season.
And even more veteran in age is Will Nixon, who's a redshirt junior, who's been around the league, and we'll get into him in a second. So let's run through the list of the names that we will be hitting on. The big ones: new running backs coach and offensive coordinator Jeff Nixon, LeQuint Allen, Will Nixon, and that'll make sense in a second, Yasim Willis, Jaden Hart, Malachi James, hold on, back and forth with the papers, Jordan Montanez, and Tyler Chandler. So let's start with this. Let's start with Coach Jeff Nixon.
Yes.
Hit us with it.
Yes. So he, 27 years of coaching experience, both in college and in the pros, played at West Virginia, transferred to Penn State. He began his coaching career at Penn State as an assistant coach, student assistant. And then now he's had stops all around the NFL with the Eagles, the Dolphins, the 49ers, Panthers, and most recently the Giants. I think this was a name that certainly popped off the page when Fran Brown was putting his coaching staff together this winter to get someone with not only NFL experience, but extensive NFL experience and recent NFL experience, I think, is something that can really benefit, of course, a guy like LeQuint, but everybody in the room.
And Rachel made a note of it, but they crossed paths at Baylor. And that's something that I think is pretty common for most new coaches putting their staff together. They want people they know, want people they trust. And Nixon and Fran Brown were down with the Bears under Matt Rule. And the quote here I think is great. Jeff Nixon is very intelligent. We got a chance to work together at Baylor, and some of our best years on offense were with him. He really knows how to score. I like that. I'm a simple man.
Yeah.
Put the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see what Nixon can cook up, what he can cook up with McCord and LeQuint Allen, kind of a multifaceted two different pieces, right? You have McCord, who, like we talked about last week, is more of that traditional pocket passer. It's going to be looking for some receivers downfield. But then you have a running game that has the potential to be so dangerous with LeQuint.
And Rachel, let's get into Will Nixon here. You have extensive notes on him. Tell us a Will Nixon story, and of course it starts with, and it makes sense as to why a guy would come from Washington. He is the son of this new OC.
He certainly is. Yeah, so he's a three-star prospect out of high school, one of the nation's top 100 receivers according to Rivals. He spent 2 seasons at Washington and 2 seasons at Nebraska before coming to the Orange. He was a member of the Huskies team that won the Pac-12 and reached the college football playoff national game. Like, he was under a really good team, and he was a backup for a star in Dylan Johnson at Washington. So, yeah, obviously the son of the offensive coordinator and the running back coach, and he adds a pretty good veterans presence to the QB room, which we see a lot of true freshmen, like I mentioned earlier. So, excited to see him.
What sticks out to you?
Yeah, I'm interested to, I mean, obviously to come play for his dad. That's very clear why he might have made that decision. But he's the backup at Washington. He's going to be either second or third string somewhere in that conversation here. So I'm interested to see, I guess, where they find playing time for Nixon and for some of these other guys, with obviously LeQuint taking the bulk of the snaps.
I think the biggest sign is that receiver background. He's someone with hands.
Yeah.
He's someone that the Huskies utilize as a pass catcher. That's where I'm seeing him. I don't know what that formation looks like, but I see an opportunity for this true, really type of hybrid. And I don't want to make a huge comparison here, but it would be very cool for this offense to have like a Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
That it's jack of all trades. He's a Swiss Army knife. You put Nixon out there, and he's going to find a way to make this team better.
Sounds like a good flex guy.
Yes.
Very good flex guy. You want him on your fantasy team. But I love the experience that he brings. Obviously, they needed depth here.
Yeah.
And then he's coming from a team that knew how to win. He came from a culture that went to the national championship game. And that, to me, I think is really important.
I think sometimes that can be more important than anything, right? I think this was a position group that, as we were getting, later parts of the winter into the spring, this was really one of those lighter groups for Syracuse. Obviously, LeQuint, you have Yasin Willis, and then it was kind of like a bunch of freshmen, everybody else. So I think even if Nixon does play kind of more of a flex role, if we see him, as a receiver sometimes, to have really a legitimate third threat, and a third threat with experience, right, at a big-time level, is something that they really needed, because this room was looking a little light before he decided to come over.
And now the situation is super interesting because, when the season ended in 2023, it was LeQuint Allen, RB1 again, and that's kind of it.
And LeQuint Allen took a beating last year.
And I think it was Jaquan Price. He transferred, so it was already a small room to begin with. And all of a sudden, here we are now between Nixon, Allen, and someone that just absolutely caught our eyes in spring ball, which is the freshman Yasin Willis coming out of Newark, New Jersey, 6'1", 215. The way this kid is built, leaving and when he should have still been in high school, was amazing. He's a force. The players on the team already respect him. The coaches are saying watch out. And so I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if we're seeing some sort of triple use here. And maybe Nixon ends up being his own thing, and it's Willis and LeQuint splitting it. But maybe it's one of those where it's, just trying to think of some of the greats here, since I'm already making giant leap comparisons. D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart, Carolina Panthers, just like 1,000-yard seasons together.
Yeah.
Who knows what they bring? But between Willis and Allen, who do you want to dive into next?
I mean, let's talk about Willis for a second, just because you started to get into it. I think
I teased it.
He teased it too hard. We got excited. This kid, he is, like you said, he got to Syracuse in January, took that extra semester to come here and learn before the spring, or in the spring, I should say. He looks like he's 23. I mean, he is the oldest looking 17, 18-year-old kid I've ever seen. Like, he is...
Yeah, props to him.
Props to him. He's big. He's physical. And I think that he really, general consensus, is the guy that impressed the most in spring ball. Definitely out of the freshmen, and maybe out of anyone in terms of a newcomer spring MVP that really, really impressed and really caught everyone's attention. I mean, Jeff Nixon and Fran Brown mentioned him a bunch of times. I think he's definitely a guy that stuck out, popped off the page, and like you said, could really, I mean, he's not going to challenge LeQuint for playing time, but could be a threat with LeQuint as well. And
they're their own player. They have their own style. And Fran Brown saying, quote, "Well, if thunder and lightning with both of these kids able to play," end quote. Come on.
Damn.
He's like that. Like, he is born to be on camera. That he just drops sound bites.
Is this
Fran Brown is a soundbite
I'm
machine.
starting to think. Do these blue walls end up getting filled with like the Jersey Shore like quote canvas portraits?
That would be so cool.
But it's all Fran Brown stuff.
Yeah.
With the live, laugh, love, and it's like
we do some sticky notes.
We'll have thunder and lightning.
Yeah, love it.
I think sticky notes or pieces of paper, like, would
Yeah.
be a cool sign.
Tack 'em up.
I like that.
But we like surround them like around a picture of his face.
Right. So we'll
The
find
Fran
something
Brown,
like that.
Yeah.
But originally a Pitt commit too, so he was a part of that. I went back and double checked. I'm like, how did they finish in the transfer rankings? And 24/7 had them top 25. So this guy was able to come in here and get a top 25 transfer recruiting class. So and sorry, I'm making that a little bit confusing. He was never a transfer, but he flipped them from Pitt.
Yes,
and there's a host of other schools that were interested in him. This dude was no joke.
Other offers from Alabama, Michigan, Penn State. So definitely a coveted guy out of New Jersey. Of course, Fran Brown has shown that he can win those New Jersey battles. He can win those Northeast battles. But look, Willis, no matter how much playing time he sees this year, which I do think he'll see more than we think now, I think he'll exceed expectations in terms of how much he sees the field. Regardless, I think it kind of screams that he is the future at the position, at least for Syracuse right now. And who better to learn under than LeQuint Allen?
4 stars, number 2 player in the country, number 2 player in New Jersey by Rivals, 11th running back in the country. That's big stuff. Alabama, Michigan, Penn State, all interested. And then the spring game. I know it's the spring game. Got to take some of that with a grain of salt, but I also think there's a lot you can learn from it. I've been beating that drum for weeks now when we talk about every position
You love
group.
the spring game.
I love the spring game. 11 carries for 92 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Pretty good numbers.
Yeah.
Not bad. I like it a lot. Now what do you got?
Can we break down who's Thunder and who's Lightning of this duo?
I have mine.
Do you?
I definitely have mine. I think
Well,
Allen.
let's go through Allen and then let's give our answers on that.
Okay.
All right,
Sounds
all right.
good.
I have my answer too.
Yeah. I think mine is just, it came right away.
Yeah.
All right. So LeQuint Allen, like Willis, New Jersey guy, Millville native, home of Mike Trout, some big superstars coming out of that town.
Mike Trout and LeQuint Allen.
And LeQuint Allen. But 6 feet. Also Rock Armstead, who played at Temple. I had to sneak that in there. Okay. 6 feet, 201 pounds on his weight.
Yeah.
Syracuse, let's start from the beginning. Syracuse beat out Rutgers, Virginia, West Virginia, Pitt, and Temple to get his recruitment. Gatorade New Jersey Player of the Year in high school. And he definitely made a name in those little opportunities he had behind Sean Tucker.
Yeah.
And I think he reflects very positively on that, being able to learn under him.
Yeah, I think it was kind of what we just said with Willis and him now. I think he definitely learned a lot from Sean Tucker. I also think for LeQuint, last year was the year we saw LeQuint grow up fast last year. Not that he was immature or something coming into the season, but I just think with the responsibility he took on last year in that backfield, with Garrett Schrader hurt, with having to figure it out with Dan Villari, we saw LeQuint both on and off the field really grow up last year.
Really grow up in such a team player from what you can see. Like he's fearless.
Yeah.
Fearless, and being a leaner running back, just took on some crap duties when it came to protecting Garrett when the O-line got blown up or whoever they were playing once October rolled around. Those were ugly games, and that dude was taking hits.
He got pummeled.
And kept getting back up.
Yeah.
It was a big part of that Pitt game when they ran the heck out of the ball. So it was he's a dog. I think he gets our dog stamp. He gets our respect stamp, and really I think just got respect of the conference.
And for what it matters, the nicest, greatest kid on that team. Like every LeQuint, he's so smiley, so happy all the time. Gonna find the best in any situation. Just a great kid to talk to, and I think a great representative of Syracuse football.
Yeah, we enjoy our interviews with him because he says things that are just funny.
Yeah,
he's just got a
hilarious.
really just light presence to him, and we enjoy his energy. And second team All ACC, hit the 1,000-yard rushing mark, 9 rushing touchdowns. I like the way he can catch, too. I think that's going to be a very cool thing, whether it's a 2 running back set. I don't know what they're going to do.
I know.
It's super – I'm so excited to really see
So many
it.
possibilities. I think LeQuint is primed for a monster year. I know that's not news. I know he kind of had one last year, but, another 1,000-yard season, I don't know. See, where I think it gets interesting is LeQuint has a monster year this year. You think he's gone next year? You think that's it?
Because he is a junior.
Yeah.
My gut says no.
Really?
But then again, like running back, It's such a brutal position.
Yeah.
And we've seen the way that with like contract talks in the NFL where it's just the longevity of these guys can be so limited. But then you have the Latavius Murrays of the world still doing their thing. Shout out Onondaga High School.
I'd love a little Mungro perspective on this one.
Yeah. And he'll be in here to talk about it. But that's a great question because I think for a running back compared to maybe some other positions, if the opportunity is there, you go after it. Because you don't know how much time you're going to have in the body that you're currently in. But let's do this. Thunder or Lightning for Allen and Willis. Let's say what we all think for Allen first. Who is LeQuint? Is he Thunder or Lightning? I'm going to go 3, 2, 1. Then we're going to say then we're going to say one of those words.
Okay. So you're going to say the name, and then we're going to say either Thunder or Lightning.
Yes.
Okay.
So all right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
So LeQuint Allen. 3, 2, 1.
Thunder.
Lightning.
Oh.
Explain, Rach.
Rachel?
I don't know. I think.
I mean, you're wrong, but like, it's subjective.
Okay. Okay, if I'm wrong, then whatever. But
No,
I
I'm
think
playing.
Thunder just because, like, I don't know. I feel like you hear the thunder before you see the lightning kind of thing. So we've heard so much talk about, like, all that he's going to bring this year and, like, all that we've seen in the past years. So, like, it's almost like we preemptively know like what we're going to get out of him and we can be excited about it. We haven't really seen the lightning yet. That was my take on it.
All right, what's
That's
yours,
a good
Ash?
way to look
I
at
really,
it.
I really like that.
Yeah, that was not where I thought you were going to go with that, but I like it a lot.
Yeah, that's why we have your brain on this show.
Yes.
It's good.
LeQuint, I just think is lightning. He's so explosive. He's lightning again on the field and off of it. He's that spark for Syracuse. He's that, if all else goes downhill for Syracuse, you can rely on LeQuint Allen in the backfield to figure something out, to have explosive plays, to run the ball, to generate some offense that they're looking for. He's lightning. LeQuint Allen is lightning. I don't know. It just makes sense in my brain.
Me too. I think it's that burst of speed.
Yeah.
And we see when he kind of takes that diagonal angle once he gets a yard. If he gets that hole, it's at least 30 yards. If he's not getting in the end zone, there's a massive gap on the field where he takes that diagonal run and he's gone.
Totally.
And so that to me comes lightning. And maybe it's even like Willis and Thunder makes a lot of sense to me. I just think that's power and there's this rawness to it there, but also happens quick. But I think power, I think speed, and they both, I think, are becoming players where they're going to be having both, which is amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I think LeQuint is, like I said, so explosive, so fast. I'm really, really excited and eager to see what he can do now after a few years of growth, really put it all together this year.
And not only do they have their goals to make things happen, but this offensive line that we previewed a few weeks ago, check it out, YouTube, wherever. And you spoke with someone important on the O-line, and he has a goal with the running backs in mind.
Yeah, my new favorite player, maybe, John Ray Reed. I got to talk to him at their little charity golf outing yesterday. Started every game at center last year, appears primed to do pretty much the same this year. And I asked him about his goals for himself this year, and he didn't want to talk about himself. And like any good O-lineman, that's perfect answer for any good O-lineman. He said, I want LeQuint Allen to get 1,000 yards rushing, and I want to protect Kyle McCord. So we can play that for you, let you hear it. Here you go.
Right now.
Me personally, my personal goals is to actually just help everybody around me win. I feel like if I'm helping everybody around me to win, that's when I succeed. As far as that's my personal goals. I don't really have none. I love for us to see the Joe Moore Award as an offensive line, and seek out the Remington Trophy. We're shooting for the stars to aim on the moon. You know what I'm saying? So it's high. The expectations high. Our head coach have high expectations for us, and us as players, we have our high expectations too. A lot of us guys, we was here last year. We know what it felt like to lose. And we want to change the subject, so that's what we're doing.
John Ray Reed, man, I like that dude.
Love him.
And keeping the list going for the guys that aren't widely as known names, but very well could be as time happens here. And that is Jaden Hart, freshman out of Michigan City, Indiana, Jordan Montanez, freshman out of Richmond, Texas, and Tyler Chandler, redshirt freshman out of Plantation, Florida. So, Rach, these are your notes here. Let's start with Hart. I know he got in a spring game, so I believe he must have reclassified and gotten in here early. But what sticks out about Hart?
Yeah, so this is a top 20 prospect out of Indiana, nationally kind of in that 60-75 range, so not as high as some of the other freshmen that we're seeing coming in this year, but He ran for over 400 yards and had 30 touchdowns in his high school career, which you cannot wave your finger at that. That's
Can't
pretty.
dispute that.
Those are pretty big numbers. He had offers from Boston College, Duke, Iowa State, Kentucky, Minnesota, Nebraska, Purdue. So he had some
impressive.
Yeah, he had some really, really attractive schools looking at him when he came here. One kind of common thing that I saw throughout all of this research that I really love to see from our running backs is a lot of them ran track in high school, and a lot of them were really, really good at it.
Snaps.
So he was a 100-meter dash kid, 200-meter dash, and 4x100-meter relay. So, I mean, if you're running on the track in the off season, there's certainly no harm in that. So we'll see what he comes up with, and if we see a lot of time from him, I mean, he's probably 4 or 5 or even lower on that depth chart here. So we'll see what we get from him this year, but another exciting name.
How about Tyler Chandler?
Tyler Chandler. So he's a redshirt freshman. He's originally from, I believe, Florida, Plantation, Florida.
Yep.
He did not appear in any games in 2023 in his last role, but he was accepted as a walk-on for last year. But to get accepted as a walk-on on a team like this and to have Fran Brown kind of continue along that line of keeping you here and with the team, I think it says a lot about what he probably brings to the table as a teammate. We'll see if we get any time from him, but he was a soccer and lacrosse guy in high school as well. So we'll see.
Nice. And a guy I forgot to mention, I don't know if I did, Malachi James, freshman out of Burlington City, New Jersey. And, yeah, he's got a lot of accolades.
Yeah.
I was wondering why I knew the name Malachi James already. And then I see here, Rachel, in your notes, I realized why. Because he was the fastest sprinter in New Jersey. He set the 100-meter dash record of he ran a 10.18. That's the fastest in state history.
That's Olympic numbers.
That's insane.
Yeah, so he was the one in the offseason. Fran Brown had a little elusive quote saying we just had a guy run a 10.2, and everybody was like, who is it, who isn't? It was Malachi James.
But like the biggest tidbit from this little nugget that we have, and this is a Mike McAllister, friend of the podcast, kind of discovery.
Brand.
But it will not go in the record books as the fastest time in New Jersey because on a technicality, there was no win gauge at the event, and it therefore cannot qualify to be in the official state record book. So I don't even know what that means or how that works.
I guess it's
the record, but it's not the official record.
I think that happened really early in the track season. It was like March or something. So people were saying, it was freezing. I don't really know what
that makes it harder.
But I know, right? I don't know.
That's weird. Well, we'll fight that battle another day, I guess.
Sorry, Malachi, but still cool.
You're pretty fast.
Fran Brown likes two things. He likes speed and he likes size.
Yeah.
End of the day. That's it. And maybe some more things, but he likes those things. Jordan Montanez on here, freshman out of Richmond, Texas. 393 yards, 5 touchdowns, second team all-district on both offense and defense in 2024. His family is originally from New York, so I like seeing those close roots. And I think that's it.
That is it. But we did forget to mention something.
What?
LeQuint Allen and the Maxwell watch list.
Yes, he's on the Maxwell watch list along with Kyle McCord. So two guys from Syracuse. So something we'll be keeping an eye on. It's similar to the Heisman. It's a standout all around award. So just great to see that early recognition for those two. We'll see if there's maybe some All-American nods somewhere along the way or some all-conference preseason stuff. I'm sure will be. Rondé could end up on some big lists. That's for sure.
Also a little tidbit. LeQuint Allen received an 885 ranking in EA college football 2025, and that's the highest for any SUR running back. Arante Gadsden got a 91, so some recognition coming from a highly anticipated game.
Yeah, I heard he's a cheat code. People like playing with Gadsden, and I get it. I understand why. When we're back next week, TBD on position group, but what we'll try to do and should be able to do is get a chance to speak directly with some of the players from this next position group.
Yes.
Because camp's starting up. It's getting going later this week, so we'll be bouncing around. Ash will be there on Thursday and Friday, so looking forward to that, and then we'll be reporting back and yeah, hopefully doing some big, collection of B-roll that we'll be able to drop on our YouTube as well.
Yeah, I also think next week, just we can have conversation about maybe our first impressions of the first week of camp or something. It's finally here. I know they're itching. Every time you talk to all of them now, Rondé yesterday, they're just itching for it to be here and to be game time because it's been such a long wait since, this offseason.
And be ready to hit people.
Yeah.
I know that's coming too.
Yes.
Final thoughts, anyone?
Final thoughts, it's finally here, which is kind of what I'm saying,
Yeah.
It's fine. It's the week we've all been waiting for. Not really, because the real week we're all waiting for is at the end of the month, but it's the first week we've all been waiting for.
Yeah. How about you,
It's a
Rach?
good sign.
Final thoughts? Anything?
I'm thought out at the moment. Happy to be here with you all. Happy for football to be coming around the corner. Even happier for football to come around the corner, meaning basketball's eventually coming around the corner.
Oh, don't do that.
All right, not today.
I'm still in let me soak in summer mode, and then
Summer
it's football.
fall camp.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about basketball right now.
Okay,
Respectfully.
sorry. My bad.
That's why you're a what would you call it? Like someone that's like a true.
Crazy.
No, people do like dimple head or like
Yeah, she's our resident diehard
resident.
basketball.
Yeah,
College basketball.
ball,
Ball.
college basketball
Ball.
lover.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll think of something.
What is that word?
Aficionado.
That.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Ashley Wenskoski, Rachel Culver. I'm Tommy Sladek. We're out here with the Orange Zone. Peace.